Looking for a house where the door is open. My body's moving fast, but my spirit's broken.
Good morning. I'm not usually a podium person, but they asked me to stick to the mic, so I'm going to do the best I can to stay tethered. I call 2014 and 2015 the apocalyptic roller coaster ride. From highs that included getting engaged and starting my business, Cappy's Coaching, to lows that included illness, drama, death in the family. We went through no fewer than 13 high-level stress events in less than 12 months. On June 14th, I was on a high. I was an entrepreneur and excited bride-to-be. I was busy to say the least. I was working on my business and as a marketing manager. I was also an enthusiastic stepmom primed for the PTA. My guests had begun arriving for wedding festivities the following weekend. The sun was shining, birds were singing. To say that I was happy and excited about life is a pretty epic understatement. June 15th, life changed. It started with an eerie phone call from my fiance. He was late arriving home, no news there, and he calls me and he says, "I've been pulled over, they're coming up to the car, I have to go." Okay, that was weird. The next 8 hours were an agonizing slide from concern into panic. I picked up my stepson from school and I made sure that he was unaware that there was anything amiss. It was very important to me that he was protected. After many anxious phone calls begging for any information I could get, an officer finally took pity on me and said the words that still ring in my ears. "Have you seen the news? He robbed a bank." And with those 9 words, my life came to a screeching halt. What? My sweet, soft-spoken, thoughtful graphic designer? No way. We are not criminals. There had to be some sort of mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. There he was on my computer screen being loaded into the back of a cop car. I went through the stages of grief in a matter of moments. I simply couldn't wrap my head around what was happening. Luckily, there was a voice inside me that said, "You're a marketer, you're a coach. What would you tell a client to do?" I immediately sprang into action. The initial fallout included a litany of phone calls to lawyers, family members, clients, calls to cancel my perfectly planned wedding. Then I had to survive what would have been my wedding day while my fiance sat in jail. Coping was tough. It still is. But I did some things immediately that I'm immensely proud of. I called my doctor, I found a counselor, and I set my intention to go through this with as much grace and intelligence as I could muster. Thank you. I went through and still go through the gamut of emotions that come and go at random, from sadness and fear to my typical determined resilience. After that first week, everybody else got to go back to their nice, normal lives, but my head was still spinning, and for me, this was really when the hard work really began. What do I even do with this? I went to his pretrial conference, and I went to visit him in jail. 2 totally surreal experiences I certainly never thought I would have. It became clear very quickly that my fiance had suffered a nervous breakdown. He talked about the spinning in his head and the panic he felt. He talked about the blinders that he had on when he believed that the only way to save our family was to commit a crime. Before he was even released on bail, I set some absolutely non-negotiable boundaries, all of which he has readily embraced. I refused to make a decision about our relationship. There were just too many questions to be answered, and quick was simply not an option. Where is the line between commitment and unforgivable? Between compassion and self-preservation? After many months of introspection, I came to the conclusion that my family is worth fighting for. This is still the man that I fell in love with. He deserves my support. So I'm doing everything I can to be strong for my family. So I don't actually have a conclusion to my story yet. I'm actually still living it day by day. So now the question becomes, why exactly am I doing this? Why am I standing on a stage putting my most humiliating moment out there for all of you lovely ladies? Because I do believe there are lessons to be learned. Number one, you never know what life is going to hand you. It's all about how you choose to react. Number two, perspective and empathy are vital components to life, especially in a crisis. And three, I am a rock star, and so are you. We all, thank you. We all have the ability to not only survive, but even thrive in ways that we can only imagine. It's unfortunate that we live in a culture that is quick to judgment, quick to condemnation, and very quick to shame. Let's change that. Let's live our lives with bravery and support for one another. Together, we are greater than the sum of our parts. Thank you.